OMG has obtained bombshell emails from school counselors at Kingsway Regional School District.
We do have confidentiality. That means that everything that we talk about stays between us.
In an email dated August 2nd that we obtained through public records requests, Fallon Corcoran emails Mike Shift where she says, quote, I had one of my students reach out to me about their preferred name for next year. Do we know how we can input their name into Genesis without it being visible by families? Kingsway Regional School District has developed a tier system to classify students and the associated student assistant plans. Tier 1 being defined as no parent guardian involvement, no staff faculty involvement. Tier 2 being defined as staff faculty aware and involved, no parent guardian involvement yet. The attempts made by these administrators to conceal their activities from the public, well, guess what? All of that is now being laid bare for the parents to see. These emails show school counselors, teachers, and staff socially transitioning middle school and high school children without their parents' knowledge or consent. The emails show that Kingsway Regional School District has developed a tier system to classify students and the associated student assistant plans. Tier 1 being defined as no parent guardian involvement, no staff faculty involvement. Tier 2 being defined as staff faculty aware and involved, no parent guardian involvement yet. When they classify a student as one of these tiers, they begin referring to the particular child with their preferred name, preferred gender pronouns, even designated bathroom use associated with their gender identity. Equally as shocking are the lengths that these counselors, teachers, and staff go to ensure that parents don't find out. In an email between Teresa Coopsey and Michelle Maurer, the administrators at the school, that we obtained through a public records request after we got audio from a source within the school, we'll get to that in a minute, these administrators prepare for an in-person meeting with a Tier 2 student and their parents by letting the involved staff know, quote, since parents will be present, just to be clear, we are using the legal name of the student and he/she pronouns. This is apparently to make sure that nobody inadvertently tips off the mom and dad to the fact that they're using a different name and different gender pronouns behind their back while the child is at school. In some instances, the counselors are even aware of the fact the parents do not agree with or support using different pronouns, genders, or names for their children, and yet they do it anyways. Melissa Loughlin writes, in reference to one of the children designated as Tier 2, quote, from what I understand, parents are not on board, but may have some awareness of it. Now here's where we get to the really good part. A brave whistleblower inside Kingsway Regional School District sent us an audio recording of Student Assistance Coordinator Fallon Corcoran addressing students during an assembly where she says the following to an audience, and she doesn't want anybody to know.
What is really important for you to know if you come down and talk to any counselor, but I especially want you to know this if you come and talk to me. We do have confidentiality. That means that everything that we talk about stays between us. So I am not telling your teachers, administrators, calling home. It is all private.
Yes, Fallon, everything you say is just between you and your students, except now it's being recorded and sent to the entire world. And by the way, Fallon, it begs the question, what is the line between confidentiality and the intentional deception and withholding of critical information from parents regarding their children? Now, after we received this audio from a brave source inside the school, remember, OMG is everywhere. We got cameras all over the place, and you can buy them on the website and use your phone to record audio. In an email dated August 2nd that we obtained through public records requests, Fallon Corcoran emails Mike Shift where she says, quote, I had one of my students reach out to me about their preferred name for next year. Do we know how we can input their name into Genesis without it being visible by families? The attempts made by these administrators to conceal their activities from the public, well, guess what? All of that is now being laid bare for the public, for all of the taxpayers of New Jersey and the parents to see. Why are they trying so hard to keep this secret? The counselors at Kingsway Regional School District appear to justify this level of deception by designating students as Tier 2, saying that this designation is, quote, reserved for instances in which the guardian's opposition would or does create an unsafe situation for the student. I think many parents would be interested to see what evidence these counselors have that would indicate that their child is unsafe or in danger simply for not agreeing with or supporting socially transitioning their children. Now, we spoke to licensed marriage and family therapist Adam Luke, who gave us his professional opinion and reaction to the emails and recordings of counselors at Kingsway School District in Gloucester, New Jersey.
Well, and so something that you have to be aware of also as a therapist is why I sit here and I go, man, there's so many ethical boundaries that are being violated, is that, when you're trusted with the psychological development of a child as a therapist or as a counselor, you have a responsibility, I would say even a duty, to make sure that you do not imprint upon that process your own value structure. So I'm really concerned when we see all these emails and you have, it sounds like many adults, a network of adults that are shepherding a child through maybe their own value structure. And this is the thing, none of them have a compass on what this child actually needs, because you're not asking the experts. The experts are their parents. As much as people want to argue that, again, a parent has the context of time. If you see a 5-year-old for the first time, you're experiencing them for the first time that day, but you have a wealth of knowledge in the 5 years that their parents have been with them. Now, again, I understand that there are hostile parents out there. There are parents out there that do not have a right to parent their children. But again, there's a threshold for that process. There's a legal context for that process. I'm not supposed to be unilaterally sitting as a therapist dictating whether or not a person is hostile and able to participate in fundamental changes that are going to happen to their child.
Lastly, we'd like to bring to your attention a recent court case out of Waukesha, Wisconsin, TF et al. Versus Kettle Moraine School District. This court case was brought by the parents of a child who was enrolled in Kettle Moraine School District, where the counselors, teachers, and staff decided to socially transition the child without parental consent or knowledge. Much like what is happening at Kingsway Regional School District here in New Jersey, Judge Michael P. Maxwell just recently wrote his decision on the case October 3rd, that's just a couple days ago, saying in part, quote, "The school district would not administer medicine to a student without parental consent. The school district could not require or allow a student to participate in a sport without parental consent. Likewise, the school district cannot change the pronoun of a student without parental consent without impinging on a fundamental liberty interest of the parents," the Waukesha County Circuit Court wrote in its decision. We have many questions for the Kingsway Regional School District Board of Education about their policies and procedures. Mostly, why are you trying to keep all these secrets? Do you not think that someone in your school is not going to take their phone and turn on the audio and record it, or maybe use one of our hidden cameras that we sell at o'keefemediagroup.com? Do you not think that people aren't watching our masterclass and purchasing our webinar and learning how to go undercover? In New Jersey, it's a one-party consent state. That means that you can be recorded in your school. Do you not know that when you write emails to each other to school addresses, that's public information the taxpayers have a right to see? Did you not see the video in Livingston where the woman says, "They look Trumpish," that was recorded by a Motorola body camera that we obtained through public records request? Now, if you're a parent and this outrages you, you know what to do. You can go to the next school board meeting, or you can join OMG, and you can have your child wear a recording device, just like what happened in this case. We need to expose what's going on inside our schools. And you can learn how to investigate and produce these types of stories by going to o'keefewebinar.com and learning the fundamentals. Buy our masterclass, learn how to do journalism. We need to clone me. We need thousands of people recording. Imagine just 1% of mothers equipped their children with cameras and revealed the secrets that they're keeping from the public. That would create a more ethical and transparent society. Stay tuned. This is just part one of this story. We have follow-up very soon. Okay, so we reached out to the Kingsway Regional School District for comment, spoke with James Lavender, Superintendent. The employee in question is implementing a practice which is consistent with Kingsway Board of Education Policy 5756, transgender and gender nonconforming students, specifically the confidentiality and privacy section of the policy, which reads, school staff members may not disclose information that may reveal a student's transgender status except as allowed by law, and goes on with some other comment here. I actually just spoke with Dr. James Lavender and asked him, hey, how does this work if we got hidden cameras in the school and we're getting all these emails of things that you're supposed to keep secret? Well, my question is, if that's accessible to the public via public records request, how do you intend to keep secrets from families if I can simply file a FOIA request for the information exchange between administrators in your school district?
Okay, I understand your question. Send me the information.
We'll share all that audio with you tomorrow. Stay tuned for some explosive follow-up.